This tome tells the tale of ignorance, selfishness, and a region locked in chaos between constant warring factions. These factions had all turned their back on the one true Great One, Arceus, and had pledged their allegiance to the forces of the region's three strongest beings. Palkia, Lord of the Expanse, were a faction of the most intelligent and noble in the region. Upset with the constant disrespect their creed had earned as know-it-alls, they believed that their brains would provide a treatise for the region to follow. Dialga, Lord of the Temporal, were a faction of the most brave and responsible. Their bravery and utilitarian goals aimed to help the region prosper. When they were not acting with the pursuit of efficiency, they were courageous in their attempts. They believed that their creed had a way to teach the region. Finally, Giratina, Lady of the Distorted, a faction of the most corrupt and disturbed. Their creed believed that only through absolute power and disruption could their whims be achieved. They wished for prosperity for the region, but through the most disturbed of means. It was them who first desired violence and the conflict. Undoubtedly, these factions were locked in a power struggle for dominance over the highest throne in the land, Spear Pillar. With Arceus' departure and the region on the verge of a cosmic collision, the Divine One's royal court brokered a peace talk for the strongest beings to hopefully set down their arms, quell their tempers, and forge some type of treaty over a hearty feast, a dinner of diplomacy to end the bloodshed. The meal was to be prepared by Arceus' clumsy assistant and royal master chef Manaphy. Her cooking was known throughout the land, but while preparing this most perfect of meals, disaster struck. Manaphy had tripped over her younger, more devious brother Fiona, breaking one of the Divine One's most sacred plates. While Manaphy and the palace staff worked diligently to cover up this grievous error and crafted a forgery to take its place, a grand heist had begun taking place within the palace walls. Each of the faction's leaders, as well as some invited distinguished guests, had been robbed of valuable treasures from their bedroom chambers. A world-renowned special investigator was appointed to the case by Manaphy, a plucky Bidoof by the name of Bernadette. This investigator astutely believed that rather than one criminal, 5 separate heists had taken place by 5 gangs active within the Sinnoh area. As the investigation began, a ceasefire was declared by one of Arceus' highest and strongest officiants, a Delibird. This Delibird demanded that there would be no warring during the holiday season, while Miss Bernadette conducted her investigation. Even the strongest beings of the cosmos seemed to respect his authority, something the onlookers took note of. But when the holidays passed, his authority and power seemed to wane, and the ceasefire was declared over, with the conflict unfortunately resuming. With the peace talks in shambles, a robbery afoot and tensions at a new high, the conflict reached its precipice. It was only then that the court's 3 wisest advisors, the truthful, the liar, and the undecided, foretold of a visitor from another region. They predicted this visitor would bring above end times for the war, and would lend its strength to one faction over the 3. This visitor would bring victory, and with it, peace through the region. This prophecy was proven true when Victini, a visitor from the Unova region, arrived at Spear Pillar and granted Giratina's forces his blessing. A show of strength, and with a final push, the disciples of Distortion were crowned victorious, with Giratina claiming her rightful place on the throne, overseeing all of the Sinnoh region. Their tale would be forever told as one of struggle, pluck, and devious deeds prevailing. While this new way of life took time for the Sinnoh region to adjust to, Giratina has proven to be both a fair and dutiful ruler. She currently rules from Spear Pillar to this day, where she is often seen watching over a pile of treasures accrued from the forces of her defeated siblings. Those who have ventured close enough to her royal chambers have claimed that atop this pile of treasure resides a Mago berry, unlike any other, a treasure that belonged to her brother Dialga.